Has anybody ever heard that name before? Do you know what it means? Can you guess what it means? Rubika.
Not the cube.
Not the cube. Oh, I love that. I used to be like, I'm a Rubik's cube. I'm complicated and round in a weird shape. No. Well, what do you think it means? No idea. Are any of you like, it's still a really pretty name? I've been getting that since I was a little child. Oh my God, you're so cute. Your name is so pretty. And I'd in my head, I'd be like, I'll tell you how I got my name. I was born. Now in the Hindu culture, there's a priest sitting somewhere in a country who says, based on her time of birth, her place of birth, and her whatever, altitude, latitude, whatever it is, her letter needs to be R. And that got told after I was born, so my parents had no idea that they were having a girl and that she'd be named with an R. And then after that, they started fighting. They fought. They fought for approximately a week. My parents wanted to name me Rebecca. They're like, she's born in Ottawa, she needs a nice Western name. My grandparents in India are like, no, we're going to name her Rubika. And it became this huge battle, and they fought and fought and fought until a neighbor came from across the road and said, let's go with Rubika, it's a mixture of both worlds. It is what it is. And I like telling people that story because it basically just means that technically I'm nothing. Technically there is nothing that made me who I am. I was born out of nothingness. I was born out of not a real identity, but yet somehow somebody still associated me with something. They're like, oh, you're Rubika, you're so pretty. Funnily enough, I didn't know that my name was pronounced Rubika until I turned 12. Everybody would read it and be like, oh, Rubika. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And I got to India when I was 12. My parents forced me into India, don't ask why. But I got to India when I was 12 when I went to school, and they're like, no, your name is Rubika. I'm like, how do you know? They're like, that's how you write it in Hindi. And I'm like, I do? And that's the first time I actually realized. But it was that idea that constantly somebody was trying to associate me with something. My parents traveled a lot when I was growing up. Every 3 years we changed countries. And I'm sure my Manisha will tell you about that as well. But every 3 years we were in a new country. We had a very privileged life. Yeah, we did. It was awesome. It was good stuff. I was 5, I was in Uganda, and I was attending a British school. And I was in the playground, a kid came and shoved me on the ground and said, hey, what team do you support? I freaked out. I'm like, India! They're like, no, India's not playing in the World Cup. And then some kid came running to my defense and she said, she looks Spanish, she supports Spain. I kid you not. When did Spain win the Euro Cup? 2011? 10? 8? Well, I don't even know when, but I kid you not. I was on commercial drive, part of the parade, wearing the colors and cheering out loud. I can't name a single person on the Spanish football team. I have no idea. In 1995, I don't remember how old I was. I think I was turning 8. That's when Liverpool first won the FA Cup. And I was again in a British school and everybody was like, yeah, Liverpool. And I was like, yes, Liverpool. I don't know who plays for Liverpool. I took Liverpool so seriously that when I met my now husband, and he's British, and I asked him on our first date, I'm like, so what team do you support? And he's like, oh, I got Manchester United. And I'm like, oh my God, we can't date. Because for me, everybody said Liverpool hates Manchester United. Why? I have no clue. I have absolutely no idea. I work at Hornby and Pender, there's Butcher and Bullock downstairs, and that's a Liverpool supporting pub. And everybody's like, aren't you going to go watch a game? And I'm like, yeah, go Liverpool. I have a jersey. I don't know whose jersey it is. But I have a jersey, and that's the idea that adaptation was constantly just tossed at me. Now, family doesn't help the cause. I'll tell you why family doesn't help the cause. Again, my family, very religious, very, belief in astrological stuff. And that same piece of paper that said she has to be named with R, they put me in another category where they identify your personality, and I kid you not, mine said I'm a demon. I was a demon child from birth. Now, your parents will never actually say that to you. If they do, there's a different problem to discuss right now. But my parents were used to do one of these, where if I did something mean, as kids do, my parents would be like, aha, there it is. There's that demon. And it kind of stuck with me. So I remember memories of me, as a kid, standing on a desk in school. No, it wasn't an oh captain, my captain moment. It was far from it. It was me being in trouble, and that was my punishment. I had to stand on the table. And what I had done was I'd broken the eraser off a kid's pencil. And they said, why'd you do it? I'm like, because I'm a demon. It was like clever for me. I thought I was just pushing boundaries, teachers. But I was also smart, because, you have to be. I'm Indian. I was also so smart. I was 95 plus. The grades were amazing. Everybody loved me. But I was awful. I punched kids. I got in trouble. I remember once my dad got called into school. I was in grade 3. And they said to my dad, there's something wrong here. And they're like, my dad's like, well, what happened? They're like, well, she punched the kid. When we said, why did you punch her? She said, because my dad told me to. And they're like, well, did you tell her to go punch that kid? And he's like, no. And they're like, what do you mean your dad told you to? Because my dad said that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a demon. And that kind of thing, you don't realize how that starts to build your identity. And that kind of starts to become a part of you. Now, I don't talk about my time in India, it was awful, but at 16 I moved to Vancouver. And 16, you're young, you're youthful, you've hit puberty already. I'm at that age where I like boys and everything. And while kids were writing little notes to say, I like you, I realized I'm going to push that envelope of adaptation so bad. I'm going to like you so much, Aaron, I'm going to copy your handwriting. I became a master forger. It was my form of adaptation. I liked you so much, I can write just like you. Could you imagine the amount of trouble I got into? Screw that. Can you imagine the amount of trouble Aaron got into when they thought he wrote my exam? Because I really liked you. I didn't know what else to do. Because I adapted and I was so desperate to fit in because in my head I'm like, I don't know what I am. I'm everything, but I need friends. And then I came to Vancouver and I went to this David Thompson, it's in South Vancouver, 57th and Argyle, a very segregated South Vancouver school. Now I come from a background where my parents had already sent us to different countries. We've lived in Ethiopia, we've lived in Uganda, we've lived in Sweden. Now I'm here and I'm expecting to be like, I'm home, guys. And this girl came up to me and she said, hey, do you speak Punjabi? I'm like, no. She's like, oh my God, if you don't, you're not going to find a boy to marry. Guess what I did? I learned how to speak Punjabi. I spent days upon days, I made only Punjabi friends, and I'm like, please teach me, I need to find a husband. Because I'm 16 and I desperately want a boyfriend so bad. And they just told me that dream is never going to come true. Imagine puberty just being sucked out of you, them telling you you're never going to be with anyone ever again. And that's kind of what I was going through. Everything I did for someone else. I met my, now husband. He got me into yoga. I teach yoga as well. I'm also a yoga teacher. And that is something that I did on the side now. So I was like, okay, I actually like doing this. But if you ever find out how I got into yoga, it's even funnier. It was 6 months into dating and my husband said to me, listen, I really like you. But, I'm an actor by trade. I love hanging out with you. But yoga is a big part of my life. And I want to date someone who also gets into yoga. I got into yoga hard. I was doing yoga 6 days a week. I was going to 6 a.m. classes. I was Instagram, like, what do you want from me? I got this. And I did it so much. And I realized I loved it. I loved it so much I started teaching it. That's another thing adaptation does to you. You love something so much you start teaching it. Because you're like, I'm in it 100%. But I got so into yoga that that's what got me into it. It was an interesting part of my life. What I really wanted to say is after that, it was approximately a few years ago and I looked at myself in the mirror and I hit this really strong point of depression. This is where things get really, really sad. And I got very depressed and I looked at myself and I said, I have no idea who this girl is. She's wearing these certain clothes. She looks a certain way. She eats certain foods. I ate salads for 3 weeks straight because somebody told me these salads are amazingly delicious. I told the whole world these salads are amazingly delicious. I hated every bite of it. But I did it anyway. And that's when I started thinking about what are you going to do for yourself and how are you going to become the person that you are today? And I started making these amazing vision boards and I started writing these things down and I started thinking about a very cool concept. If I was to get something tattooed on myself, what would it be? Now I have a tattoo, I have a beautiful peacock feather on my back. Me and my family are on odds. My mom thinks it's religious. I'll go with it. Whatever makes her happy, it's completely okay. But that's personal, that's something that I did for myself because it's very womanly, it's very feminist, it's also very powerful, it's also very masculine, it's everything. But that's why I have it there. But if I had to get another tattoo on myself, what would it be? If I had to make my own coat of arms, like the 4 things that go on your coat of arms, my family crescent, what would be on it? And that's what got me thinking, and that's what actually got me to the idea of adaptation versus identity. When I go home now, I'm not Rubika. I'm not Rubika the hotel instructor. I'm not Rubika the yoga teacher. I'm just me. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm all those things, but I'm just me. So what I want you to take away from this is when you get home, I want you to take a pen and paper and write down who you are or who you think you are. And then start thinking about how many of those things actually came from someone else, how many of those things you actually like doing, and how many of those things you want to take with you for the rest of your life. Right now, my biggest phase and my biggest struggle is all of a sudden I want to become an actor. Now I told you my husband's an actor, right? So now my struggle is, and I'll be struggling with this for the next 6 months, am I doing that because my husband told me to? Or am I doing that because he talks about it all day long? Or is it something that I even actually want to do for myself? So yeah, ask yourself that. Who are you? And that's how you're going to go from your adaptation to your identity. Merci.